Good afternoon. In this class, I want to talk about the ways in which families and schools help children to develop social interaction skills, and the ways in which these social interaction skills are incredibly valuable in opening up opportunities for children in the future, and also they can limit children's development if they don't develop these social emotional skills well. Maria Perescu writes that according to Piaget, a child starts as an individual person, and then as they grow older, they interact with their mother and their father, and they interact with siblings and with other family members, and they develop a range of social skills that will be very important for them as they continue through the life journey. If these social skills are well developed, and if their family and parents and culture pass on highly developed skills, this will open up opportunities for them. If these skills are more limited, or if their culture or family gives them a more limited range of skills, then schools can help to provide a greater range of skills so as to expand their opportunities through the life journey. A child's success in life, their opportunities or limitations, will be related not only to education that they receive at schools, but also to the skills and attitudes that they develop in terms of their ability to relate to others, to themselves, and to those who hold positions of authority or opportunities for them. Their social skills and knowledge will be of great importance in the life journey, and schools and families provide important places where these are developed. Erik Erikson argues that every stage of human development is characterized by a certain type of socialization through which people have to interact with others. Socialization has a major purpose in realizing the ability to obey certain norms and ideals that our culture holds, but this can be affected by the norms and values of peers or other around us, which may lead us down one path to increased opportunities, or another path where opportunities can be limited or reduced because peers and their socialization directions may lead us in ways that limit us and limit our opportunities. The content of socialization is not only psychological and mental, that is the maturing of the person, but it's also cultural. That is, we learn the social norms and values of various cultural groups and subcultural groups, and we learn how to respond to those, some being more positive with more opportunities, and some being quite limiting as they reduce the opportunities. And so if our peers introduce us to a group that are going the wrong way, a bad way, with smoking and misbehaving and truancy, that can limit our way of engaging with society and can limit a child's opportunities in the long run. But if there's transformation and change in the child's life through love and care and concern that are offered to them, they can return to another social pathway, another cultural pathway and cultural group that can improve their opportunities. The first nucleus in the child's development and socialization is the family. And so the first social relationships are often with the mother and with the father and with their siblings. And so this is where they learn those rules and values that are going to be important in life. And this can vary greatly from family to family. And then schools can introduce further ways of understanding the value of socialization and those skills in socialization, those knowledge about culture and society that are going to bring the greatest reward and the greatest success and the greatest growth and maturity for a child. As a child goes to school, they'll begin to learn more about we instead of I, as they have to adhere to more general rules applied to a larger group of people in the whole of the classroom. He or she may learn that her free actions may not be able to disturb the free actions of others. They may learn greater levels of self-control and respect and principles, asking the person to reflect on what motivates each of their actions. Why do they act in certain ways? How do they feel when they face certain emotions? How they can better understand emotions and control emotions will all be very, very important. The institutional framework of the school can help the child to know him or self, others better. The institutional framework of the classroom too can help establish relationships, to appreciate different types of relationships and different ways of relationship that'll bring success or may limit one's opportunity. Here the child learns to subordinate to the group desires of the teacher, the other students, the classroom, or to peers that may lead them in different directions, sometimes in the same direction as the class and teacher, but sometimes in other directions that'll limit their opportunities. And learning social skills to negotiate these different pressures on them, when to speak up, when to keep quiet, when to express themselves and ask questions, when to think more deeply about those questions they're asking. All of this can be very important in social development. And teachers can play a huge role in helping students to develop these skills. Adapting to these requirements, expressing to the student represented by adopting certain conduct plans, processes, plans of serving, plans of following certain activities, plans of integrating into the community and the classroom and school can be vitally important. Some opening up opportunities, some reducing their opportunities. In these social groups, a child learns to socialize faster and to respect rules that'll bring harmony, and it's easy for them to grow towards becoming more adult-like. Many children who don't know how to behave in these ways will take time to learn the skills that are needed, and a lot of affection and care and concern is needed to help them in this process. This communication of ways to work together, this love and concern will help students to significantly improve and grow, and schools are important places where this growth takes place. The ability to empathise, to be sympathetic to the needs of others, it's partly inborn, but it partly also needs to be developed and grown, and school is one of these places where this growth takes place. Schools play an important role in this socialization development process, and there's a number of skills that we can teach the children in this process. Karen Young, in an article on Being Human, offering 19 practical, powerful ways to build social emotional intelligence, suggests some of the skills that children will find very useful in this process. Social emotional intelligence involves being able to recognize and manage feelings appropriately in ourselves and in others and in relationships, and taking the time to encourage children and students and youth to reflect on their social emotional feelings, skills, and approaches can be very valuable in learning skills in these areas. Supporting children in developing social emotional intelligence will boost their chances of success not only at school, but also in work and life. Some of the skills that we can encourage students to develop include the skills to use their words, the skills to use words to articulate what they think and how they feel in socially appropriate ways. As primary school teachers will often say, use your words, rather than just physically pushing or emotionally responding. Our kids won't always remember our words, but they'll remember the ways in which words will make them feel, sometimes to lift them up, put them down, to be used in different ways. And if we take time to reflect on the different impact of words and the ways in which words use, we'll find great benefit in this. It's important for us to model authenticity and even admitting imperfection. That is, people are human, and particularly important for us to model being human, be authentic, being real in what we do. And we too can encourage this in other students. It's important to model making kindness a priority and to encourage students of the benefits that can come as they show kindness and love and concern one to another. It's important, as we know as teachers, to teach children to listen carefully, to pay attention, to listen to others and to show the value of the ways in which listening to others can bring respect from other people. Listening is magnetic. It teaches us that others will pay attention to us when we pay attention to them. Recognise the importance of understanding disagreement and articulating with our words the reasons why we disagree, and articulating carefully the thoughts about the reasons why we disagree. Being able to be effective in negotiating different points of view is a very important social skill, and knowing when to push forward and when to quieten back is particularly important. Empathy, too, is a very important social skill that we can encourage and develop in our children and youth, and it'll be very useful for them in their lives ahead. It's important, too, that we model sharing of feelings, including times when we feel sad, mad, scared, jealous, or insecure, and the ways in which we're able to manage and balance and overcome negative feelings can be very inspiring and encouraging to children and youth. Relationship is crucial. That is, as we build relationships with the children that we teach, they too will learn the value in building strong relationships one with another. It's important to stay connected in the biggest, best way to influence young people, and building this connection will also teach them about ways that they can build connections with others. We shouldn't try to change what a person is feeling in a rushed, hurried way. Rather, we should teach them to understand their feelings as we encourage them to express them or to reflect on them and to think more deeply about why they feel the way they do. This invites them to address some of the reasons why they might feel angry, or they might feel that they have pent-up anger, that they're uncertain about what to do. It's important that we explain what feelings do, what feelings are, the reasons why our body responds in certain ways, and the way in which it sends us messages in certain ways about emotions and feelings, such as anger being a clue that something is wrong, and that it gives us the energy to put things right. But it's wise to use this energy in a socially acceptable way, and it's wise to seek to better understand why do we feel angry, and are there other ways of perceiving or understanding what is going on. When a child feels sad, it's important to realise that sadness makes us to step back from the world and to reset and recharge and to heal as we reflect on the sadness of loss or the sadness of disappointment. It's important to understand that fear too can give us energy to either fight or flee, and that there are socially acceptable ways to respond to fear. There are wise ways to respond to fear, and there are much less wise ways that'll lead to difficulty. Anxiety can fuel a potential threat and lead us to respond in a certain way, but students and us don't need to respond in that way. Rather, we can build strategies and skills and resilience to respond in better ways. Jealousy too is something that's triggered in our mind and body and emotions that lets us know that something that is important is being missed out upon in a certain way. And as we reflect on the reasons for this, it can help us to better understand our values and reasons for holding those values. Bad feelings about friendships alert us to possibilities that there can be something not quite right that needs to be addressed. It's important to realise that whenever we feel negative emotions, we don't have to either just bury them or dismiss them or say that they're unimportant, but rather we can respond and think, how can we become a better person through the ways in which we respond to these emotions? How can these emotions and our awareness of them help us to grow and to become more the people that we ought to be? Attending to feelings and emotions will often give clues as to what is needed in our lives in order to become more balanced, complete, and whole people. It'll help us to understand what our true values are, what are good values, and what are poor values that won't take us very far in life. Encouraging a child or student or youth to find words or images to attach to feelings or emotions or different ways in which they're responding in life can be very helpful. Doesn't matter if they aren't fully understanding what's happening. What's important is that they open up and increase in their self-awareness and capacity to notice feelings and emotions and values and become aware of what is needed in their life to go forward. It's important that we're savvy with discipline. If punishment involves shaming or yelling, or how kids in the end control the world through these negative responses, bad examples can be set. And certainly we're all human and we might feel like taking these strategies at times, but the negativity that unfolds can often simply make things worse. Shame never changes anyone for the better. Yelling never changes anyone for the better. And it's important to understand boundaries and wisdom that helps work things out for good rather than making things worse. It's important that we understand our feelings in terms of relationships and friendships and understand the best ways to respond when we feel negative or more positive in these relationships. The decisions about how we feel and who we'll let close to us will often shape a person's life, and so too, developing of skills in these areas will be very important. When a friendship might make a person feel bad, that can trigger greater understanding of something negative in that relationship that needs to be addressed. Alternatively, we can put that to one side and move to a more positive way of understanding our lives and the world, and we can share that with others, which shows that we have a more mature attitude and approach that steps up and above the negativity. Encouraging children to look at their behavior with an open heart, being open and real about how they feel, but recognizing too that there are positive ways that can bring benefits that are better to pursue. To build a child up, to give them confidence, to help them to be resilient is not to overinflate them with artificial positivity, but rather it is to help them to be real and to recognize the value of positive outcomes and a positive focus. We shouldn't force apologies for when a person feels negative or simply saying sorry. Rather, we should help to seek a greater understanding of the value of apology and forgiveness in order to help them to grow. And we should model forgiveness. We should model responsibility. We should model being open to talking about our feelings and talking about the challenges we face in life. We should model creating a calm space in which we can cool down, in which we can address the challenges of life, and we can develop strategies to share with others. Mindfulness is a very helpful strategy to use. As we teach, it's important to recognize that children and youth will watch what we do. They will look for clues as to how to best respond to the social worlds around them in order to have greater opportunities and success in life. We can give them those positive examples, help them to do well, and that can help bring a positive, cheerful atmosphere and culture to our classrooms, which everyone can benefit, including ourselves and our students. Thank you.